The sky is preparing to darken, and with it comes a moment that carries weight beyond astronomy. An eclipse has always been more than the shadow of the moon crossing the sun. In ancient traditions, it is a threshold, a gate where time bends and change accelerates. During these rare alignments, the human body becomes a messenger. It stirs with signs, some subtle, some overwhelming. They are not accidents, they are signals. For centuries, monks and sages watched the heavens not to predict fate, but to understand the patterns between the cosmos and the human spirit. They taught that when the sky shifts, the body shifts too. Restlessness, heat, dreams that shake you awake, emotions that appear from nowhere, these are not weaknesses. They are proof that the inner world is moving in rhythm with the greater cycle. You may have already felt it. A heaviness behind the eyes, a sudden fatigue even after rest, a strange pull toward silence. These are the whispers before the eclipse. They tell you that your energy is being rearranged, purified, tested. In Shaolin tradition, mastery is measured not by how comfortable life feels, but by how well one walks through discomfort with awareness and discipline. In this teaching, you will learn why 9 particular physical symptoms appear before this eclipse on the 21st of September. More than that, you will see how each one is not a burden, but a path, a lesson carved into the body itself. If you stay until the end, you will not only understand these signs, you will be prepared to meet them with clarity and strength. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. I invite you to subscribe and walk with us on this journey of self-mastery and awakening. There is a kind of pain that does not come from injury. It arrives without warning, like an ache in the joints, a heaviness in the back, or a sharp tension across the chest. Many dismiss it as fatigue or stress, but in the Shaolin path, pain is not random. It is the voice of Qi, the life force that flows through every channel of the body. When that flow is smooth, there is vitality, clarity, and strength. When it is blocked, the body calls out through discomfort. Think of a river. If stones or branches fall into its course, the water will not stop. It will press harder, searching for another way. The turbulence, the splashing, the sound of strain, this is what you feel inside when energy struggles to move. And when the heavens shift, as they will during the eclipse, those inner rivers are stirred. Hidden blocks are shaken loose. Pressure builds where flow is weak. The pain you feel is the sign that something long concealed now demands release. Monks of old understood this. During times of cosmic alignment, they paid close attention to the body. They knew that discomfort pointed not only to muscle or bone, but to thought, memory, and attachment stored deep within. A pain in the shoulder could be the weight of unspoken burdens. A knot in the stomach could be unprocessed fear. So when the body aches before the eclipse, it is not simply suffering, it is instruction. The message is simple but profound. Something within you must change. Do not ignore me. In this way, pain becomes a teacher. Not cruel, not careless, but persistent. It asks you to look inward, to see what has been hidden, and to begin the work of release. There are nights when sleep will not come, when the body lies still but the mind circles endlessly. Thoughts rise like smoke, impossible to catch, impossible to silence. In the Shaolin and Chen tradition, this kind of restlessness is not seen as random, it is the signal of imbalance. The mind has run ahead while the body lags behind, or the body is ready to rest while the mind clings to old noise. When these two fall out of rhythm, peace vanishes. Ancient teachers compared the mind to a monkey and the body to a tree. If the monkey leaps wildly from branch to branch while the tree sways in another direction, chaos follows. Harmony is found only when the monkey rests in the tree, when thought and form breathe together. Restless nights remind us that our monkey has strayed. The eclipse, with its heavy stirring of energies, shakes the branches even more. What was quiet suddenly awakens. Memories, fears, old emotions long buried rise and make themselves felt. In Shaolin discipline, moments like this are not curses but opportunities. A monk does not force sleep when it refuses to come. Instead, he sits upright, breathes, and watches. He lets the thoughts move until they reveal their root. He lets the body soften until it no longer resists. Slowly, mind and body begin to recognize each other again, like old friends who have been apart too long. Restlessness before the eclipse is the body's way of saying you are carrying something unbalanced into this threshold. Align yourself with awareness and discipline. Even sleeplessness becomes a practice. Each unsettled night can become a training ground where one learns to gather the scattered mind and bring it back into the body, finding stillness not through force but through presence. There are times when the world suddenly feels sharper than before. The light cuts deeper into the eyes. A simple sound carries like thunder. The presence of many people becomes heavy, almost unbearable. Even the shift in weather presses on the skin, as if the body has grown too thin to protect itself. These moments can be disorienting, but in the Shaolin path, they are understood as signs of the subtle channels opening. Shaolin training often begins with the senses. A disciple learns to hear beyond noise, to see beyond form, to feel what cannot be touched. This sharpening is not meant for comfort, it is meant for awareness. When an eclipse approaches, nature itself heightens this process. Energy moves differently, and the body, finely attuned, cannot help but respond. The channels through which chi flows become more active, more sensitive. What was once background now rushes to the surface. It can feel overwhelming, as though the world is too much. But this sensitivity is not a flaw. It is necessary, just as the warrior learns to feel the faintest vibration in the ground before an enemy approaches. The seeker learns to feel the shifts of energy before transformation takes place. To endure this without breaking requires discipline. To interpret it requires stillness. The ancients taught that when the senses open too quickly, the mind must become even calmer. If one resists, sensitivity becomes suffering. But if one accepts and observes, it becomes a doorway. In those moments of heightened perception, the veil between self and world grows thinner. The eclipse presses that veil until it almost disappears. For those prepared, the overwhelm turns into clarity, and what once felt like burden reveals itself as a passage into deeper awareness. Sometimes the body feels as though a fire has been lit within it. Heat rises without warning, the pulse quickens, the heart begins to race. It can feel alarming, as though something is wrong. Yet in the wisdom of Shaolin, this warmth is often a sign that the inner fire has awakened. Through practices such as Neigong and Qigong, monks learn to guide the movement of energy. Breath becomes the bellows, focus becomes the flame. When energy that has long been stagnant begins to stir, it does not slip quietly away, it burns. It pushes through resistance, dissolving what has been stored in the body, old tensions, suppressed emotions, fragments of the past that linger. This is why the heat is felt, why the heart pounds. It is the body's way of showing that purification is underway. The eclipse magnifies this process. Just as the heavens align in rare precision, the inner channels begin to align as well. The fire rises more strongly, demanding attention. If one resists it with fear or confusion, the experience becomes heavier. But if one meets it with discipline, steady breath, calm posture, quiet awareness, the fire does its work without destruction. It clears the old to make room for the new. The ancients often compared this to forging metal. To shape iron into a blade, heat is necessary. The fire is not punishment, but transformation. In the same way, the body's sudden warmth before the eclipse is not meant to frighten you. It is evidence that something is being refined within. The key is not to fight the flames, but to let them temper you, until the energy that once felt chaotic becomes strength flowing freely through every part of your being. There are nights when dreams no longer feel like dreams. They carry weight, color, and symbols that linger long after waking. A face from the past appears. A journey unfolds in strange landscapes. Sometimes the images disturb, sometimes they inspire, but always they seem to whisper something just beyond understanding. Mindfulness traditions teach that when the conscious mind is burdened, the subconscious begins to speak more clearly. In daily life, noise and tasks keep its voice hidden. Yet as the eclipse approaches, the veil between these two realms grows thinner. What usually lies buried rises closer to the surface. The dream becomes a messenger, carrying truths that the waking mind has refused to hear. In ancient practice, monks paid attention to such dreams. They did not chase them for prediction, but listened for patterns, a recurring symbol, an emotion that echoes night after night. These were taken as reflections of the inner landscape. They believed that dreams revealed attachments, fears, or wisdom waiting to be acknowledged. When the eclipse stirs the mind, dreams may feel overwhelming. One might wake with a racing heart, unsure if what was seen belonged to the night or to waking life. Yet this intensity is not chaos, it is alignment. The energies of the sky press the subconscious to reveal itself, urging balance where imbalance remains. The discipline is not to cling to the images, nor to dismiss them as meaningless. It is to observe them as one would observe clouds passing across the sky, shapes that point towards something deeper. In this way, dreams before an eclipse are less about prediction and more about purification. They open hidden doors, allowing the seeker to step closer to clarity and to meet the truths that rise from the depths of the self. There are moments when emotions appear like sudden storms. Tears rise without reason. Anger flares at the smallest spark. Grief settles on the chest as if from nowhere. These surges can feel confusing, even unsettling. But in the Shaolin and Buddhist view, emotions are never without cause. They are the surface expression of something deeper, attachments, memories, and energies stored long ago. A teaching says that the heart is like a vessel. Every experience leaves its trace, and over time the vessel grows heavy with what has not been released. Most days the weight is hidden beneath routine, but when great shifts occur, such as an eclipse, the vessel is stirred. What has been buried comes rushing to the surface, demanding to be seen. The monks understood this not as weakness, but as opportunity. To feel anger or grief is not failure. It is the body's way of showing what is still clung to, what has not yet been transformed. The eclipse acts like a mirror, forcing what is no longer aligned with your path to reveal itself. The energy of the cosmos presses against the energy within, and whatever cannot remain in harmony is shaken loose. Discipline lies in how one meets these emotions. If you fight them, they harden. If you drown in them, they control you. But if you observe with steady breath and quiet awareness, they pass through like clouds. The tears cleanse. The anger points to a wound that needs care. The grief marks a chapter that must be released. When such emotions rise before the eclipse, see them not as intruders, but as guides. They are showing you what must be left behind, so that growth may continue. In their release, space is created for clarity, strength, and peace to enter. There are days when even the smallest task feels heavy. Walking across a room, lifting a hand, or holding a simple conversation drains more energy than it should. The body feels weary though little has been done. This exhaustion often worries the mind, but in the wisdom of Shaolin and other ancient paths, such fatigue can be a sign not of weakness, but of transformation. When the body begins to redirect energy inward, it withdraws strength from the surface. Muscles, movements, and outward tasks receive less because the deeper systems are at work. Like a village conserving its firewood for the long winter, the body chooses to burn energy in hidden places. Old wounds may be mending, inner channels may be cleansing. The eclipse amplifies this process, stirring the unseen until the body shifts its priorities. The ancients compared it to the seasons. In spring, life bursts outward, vibrant and visible. But in winter, all life retreats underground. Roots strengthen, seeds prepare. And though the surface appears lifeless, within there is quiet labor. Fatigue before the eclipse is like this winter. What looks like stillness on the outside is powerful recalibration within. The discipline lies in listening rather than resisting. Many force themselves to push through exhaustion, treating the body like a tool that must always perform. Yet mastery teaches the opposite. True strength is found in aligning with the body's rhythm, not in ignoring it. To rest when rest is called for, to breathe when breath is short, to honor the silence when energy withdraws, this is wisdom. So when tiredness falls heavily in this season, it may not be a signal to fight harder, but to trust more deeply. The body is not betraying you, it is preparing you, shifting its energy so that when the moment of renewal comes, you will rise clearer, lighter, and more aligned. The center of the body often speaks louder than the mind. A knot in the stomach, sudden tension, waves of nausea or unease. These sensations appear without clear cause, yet they carry meaning. In Shaolin wisdom and Eastern medicine, the gut is more than an organ of digestion. It is the seat of deeper knowing, the place where instinct and intuition reside. When unrest is felt there, it is often the sign of inner turbulence. Teachers of old called the gut the second brain. It processes not only food, but also emotion, memory, and energy. Fear tightens it, anxiety twists it, unspoken truths weigh upon it. What the mind refuses to acknowledge, the gut quietly records. And when times of great energetic change arrive, like the days before an eclipse, these hidden records stir. The body signals with discomfort, something within must be faced. The ancients would pause when such sensations arose. Rather than dismissing them as random, they treated them as messages from the inner terrain. A monk sitting in meditation might feel a sudden tightening in the abdomen and take it as a call to breathe deeper, to release an old attachment, or to uncover a thought buried too long. The body, after all, is honest. It cannot hide what the mind chooses to ignore. To master oneself is to listen to these signs. Tightness in the gut is not an enemy. It is the body's way of pointing to imbalance, of asking for attention and care. If you resist, the unrest grows louder. But if you meet it with awareness, gentle breath, calm observation, it begins to reveal its message. In this way, even discomfort in the core becomes a guide, reminding you that true clarity starts not in the mind, but in the quiet wisdom held deep within the body. There are moments when the head feels as though it carries too much weight. A heaviness presses down behind the eyes, or the world begins to tilt with sudden lightness and dizziness. These sensations can be unsettling, yet within the Shaolin path, they are seen as signals of misalignment. Moments when mind, body, and breath have fallen out of harmony. Shaolin stance training was created for this reason. To stand rooted is not merely to hold the body still, but to anchor spirit and breath into the earth itself. A strong stance teaches the body to carry weight without strain, teaches the breath to flow without interruption, and teaches the mind to rest without scattering. When any of these falter, imbalance arises, and the head becomes the first to reveal it. Before great shifts in the heavens, such as an eclipse, these alignments are tested. Just as the earth, moon, and sun must fall into precise order, so too must the inner world of the seeker. If body and mind are not in rhythm, the pressure of cosmic change makes it known. The dizziness is not only physical, it is the echo of a spirit pulled in too many directions, of thoughts drifting while the body longs to be grounded. The ancients taught that the cure is not found in resisting the sensation, but in returning to the root. Feet placed firmly on the ground, breath drawn slow and deep, awareness lowered from the head into the belly, into the earth itself. In this way, even the spinning of the mind is calmed, the heaviness lifts, not by force, but by alignment. Such moments remind us that mastery begins below the surface. To walk upright is easy, to stand truly grounded, even as the cosmos shifts above, is the deeper art. There are seasons when the pull towards solitude grows stronger than the call of the world. Crowds feel heavy, voices too loud, and even simple conversation becomes tiring. The heart longs for silence, for stillness, for the quiet company of one's own breath. In the Shaolin and monastic traditions, such a desire is not a sign of weakness. It is a natural step before thresholds of change. Ancient monks often withdrew before moments of transition, before great ceremonies, before the passing of seasons, or during rare cosmic events. They retreated to the mountains or temples. In solitude, they allowed the noise of the world to fall away, so that the subtler voices within could be heard. This retreat was not escape, it was preparation. Just as a seed must rest beneath the soil before breaking into the light, the spirit must gather itself in stillness before stepping into transformation. When the eclipse approaches, the body and mind are stirred. Symptoms rise: fatigue, restlessness, emotion, vivid dreams, and it is in solitude that these threads can be woven together. Without retreat, the signals remain scattered, easily drowned out by distractions. But in silence, they begin to form a picture. Solitude becomes the vessel where the messages of the body can be understood. The discipline lies in honoring this need rather than resisting it. Many fear being alone, equating silence with emptiness. Yet for those on the path of mastery, silence is fullness. It is the ground where clarity grows. To step back, to listen, to let the body integrate what is surfacing is to align with the rhythm of nature itself. In solitude, the chosen one does not lose connection with the world. Instead, they return to it renewed, carrying a clearer mind and a steadier spirit. There are moments when understanding arrives suddenly, like lightning across a dark sky. A question that lingered for months is answered in an instant. A truth that once seemed hidden stands plainly before you. These flashes of clarity do not come from effort alone. They arrive when the mind has been prepared, emptied of noise, steadied through discipline, and open enough to receive what was always waiting. In Shaolin mindfulness, this clarity is considered the fruit of practice. A monk trains not to force insight, but to cultivate the conditions where insight naturally appears. Breath by breath, movement by movement, the mind is cleansed of clutter. When the eclipse draws near, these conditions are magnified. The veil between illusion and truth grows thinner. What is usually concealed behind habit, fear, or attachment is suddenly exposed. The mask is lifted, and the seeker is invited to see with unclouded eyes. Such moments can be unsettling because clarity often reveals what we have avoided. It might show the cost of an attachment, the truth behind a relationship, or the next step we must take but have resisted. The eclipse does not create these truths. It simply brings them into the open. Like the sun revealed again after total darkness, they shine with undeniable force. The discipline is not only in recognizing these flashes, but in holding them with steadiness. To grasp too tightly is to distort them. To dismiss them as coincidence is to waste them. Instead, one must let clarity rest in the mind like water in a calm bowl, still, reflective, undisturbed. In this way, the insights offered by the eclipse are not fleeting sparks, but lasting light. They guide the path ahead, reminding us that true vision is born from inner stillness and the courage to see what is real. The signs your body shows you are not mistakes. They are part of the language between you and the greater order of life. Each ache, each restless night, each sudden surge of feeling is a reminder that you are connected to something vast. When you meet these moments with awareness instead of resistance, they guide you, they purify, they teach, they open the door to growth. The eclipse is not only a shadow across the sun, it is a shadow across the self, asking you to step into deeper clarity. If you ground yourself, if you breathe and listen, you will see that what feels heavy today becomes light tomorrow. What feels confusing now becomes understanding later. This is the rhythm of transformation. Carry this lesson into your daily life. Notice the signals of your body. Honor the wisdom of stillness. Let go of what you no longer need. In doing so, you walk the path of mastery step by step, breath by breath. Thank you for sharing this time with us. May you meet the coming eclipse with strength, calm, and clarity. If these teachings speak to you, support this journey by liking this video and subscribing to our channel Shaolin Soulfire. May your path be steady and may your spirit remain at peace.